the real reason you feel disconnected from yourself. From the outside, life can look normal. You are functioning. You are busy. You are doing what needs to be done. Nothing is obviously wrong, and yet something feels off. A quiet sense of distance, a lack of clarity, a feeling that you are present but not fully there. Many people describe this as feeling disconnected from themselves. But what does that actually mean? And more importantly, why does it happen? Welcome to 10-Minute Books, where we explore the ideas behind the books that shape how we understand identity, psychology, and meaning. Today we explore a powerful idea reflected across 3 influential works: The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav, Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert, and The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. The real reason you feel disconnected from yourself. Gary Zukav begins with a distinction: the difference between external life and internal alignment. Modern life often emphasizes external achievement. What you do, what you accomplish, how you are perceived. These become the primary markers of success. But Zukav argues that external success does not guarantee internal connection. You can achieve goals and still feel disconnected, because connection is not created by achievement. It is created by alignment. Alignment between your actions and your deeper intentions. When this alignment is missing, disconnection appears, even if everything looks fine externally. Daniel Gilbert explains part of this through psychology. In Stumbling on Happiness, he shows that humans are poor at predicting what will make them feel fulfilled. We imagine future versions of ourselves. We assume certain achievements or conditions will bring satisfaction. But when those conditions arrive, the experience often differs from the expectation. This creates a subtle disconnect. You are living a life you once wanted, but it does not feel the way you expected. The gap between expectation and experience creates confusion. You begin to question yourself. Why does this not feel right? Nothing is wrong externally, but internally something does not match. Michael Singer approaches the problem from another angle. In The Untethered Soul, he focuses on awareness. He suggests that most people are not fully connected to themselves because they are identified with their thoughts. Constant internal dialogue, judgment, narrative, interpretation. Instead of experiencing life directly, you experience your thoughts about life. This creates distance. You are not fully present. You are observing, evaluating, and reacting. The mind becomes a filter between you and experience. Over time, this creates a feeling of disconnection, not because you are lost, but because your attention is divided. Together, these 3 perspectives reveal something important. Disconnection is not caused by lack of activity. It is caused by lack of alignment and awareness. You can be active and disconnected, productive and disconnected, successful and disconnected, because connection depends on something deeper. Zukav would say connection comes from intention. Are your actions aligned with what you truly value, or are they driven by external expectations, approval, status, security? When actions are driven primarily by external forces, the internal sense of self becomes quieter. You begin to perform rather than live. This performance can be effective, but it creates distance. Gilbert would say disconnection comes from misprediction. You are living according to assumptions that no longer match your experience. The life you built may reflect past expectations, but your current experience may be different. Without adjustment, this creates tension. Singer would say disconnection comes from identification. You are overly identified with thoughts, with stories about who you are, with judgments about how life should feel. This identification prevents direct experience. You are thinking about life instead of experiencing it. Another important factor is attention. Modern environments fragment attention constantly. Notifications, information, comparison. Attention moves quickly from one stimulus to another. This reduces depth, and connection requires depth. When attention is scattered, experience becomes shallow. You move through moments without fully engaging with them. Over time, this creates a sense of distance. You are present physically, but not fully engaged mentally. This also affects relationships. Conversations become partial. Listening becomes divided. Connection weakens. The same applies internally. If your attention is always external, internal awareness decreases. You lose track of your own thoughts, emotions, and intentions. This creates disconnection. There is also the role of adaptation. Humans adapt quickly to circumstances. What once felt meaningful becomes normal. What once felt exciting becomes routine. This does not mean life has lost value. It means perception has changed. Without conscious attention, adaptation can feel like loss. You interpret normal as insufficient. You begin searching for something else. But the issue may not be absence. It may be lack of awareness. Zukav would suggest returning to intention. Why are you doing what you are doing? Does it align with what matters to you now? Not in the past. Not according to others. Now, Gilbert would suggest updating expectations. Instead of assuming what should feel fulfilling, observe what actually does. Adjust based on experience. Singer would suggest creating distance from thought. Notice thoughts without becoming them. Observe reactions without being controlled by them. This creates presence, and presence restores connection. Another key insight is that connection is not something you find, it is something you allow. When attention is focused, when actions align with values, when thoughts are observed rather than followed, connection appears naturally. It is not created, it is revealed. There is also a deeper emotional layer. Disconnection is sometimes a form of protection. If certain emotions feel uncomfortable, the mind creates distance. It avoids full engagement. This reduces discomfort temporarily, but it also reduces connection. Avoidance creates numbness, and numbness feels like disconnection. Singer would say that allowing emotion without resistance reduces this effect. Zukav would say that aligning with intention reduces internal conflict. Gilbert would say that understanding expectation reduces confusion. Together, they suggest that disconnection is not a permanent state. It is a signal that something is misaligned. Attention, expectation, intention, awareness. The question then becomes, where is the disconnect? Are your actions aligned with your values? Are your expectations aligned with reality? Is your attention present or fragmented? Are you observing your thoughts or identified with them? Because connection does not require changing everything. It often requires noticing what is already there. The shift can be subtle. More attention, more alignment, more awareness. Over time, these shifts accumulate, and the sense of disconnection begins to fade. Not because life changed, but because your relationship to it did. That was the real reason you feel disconnected from yourself, explored through The Seat of the Soul, Stumbling on Happiness, and The Untethered Soul. Which idea resonated most with you? Alignment, expectation, or awareness? Let us know in the comments. And subscribe to 10-Minute Books for ideas that help you understand identity, psychology, and the deeper patterns shaping your life. Because sometimes the distance you feel is not from yourself, but from your attention